My grandmother, Franczos, Mrs. Franczos, it was Chaf Gimel Menachem of the year Tafshin Nun Ches 1998. That summer, I was a counselor in a day camp in Queens, New York, and for the Shabbosim, I would spend it at the Holy Oil of the Rebbe in Queens. And for that Shabbos, which was Chav Gimel Menachem Av, I was looking for a ride to go to the oil. It was Friday and it was quite late in the afternoon, and I wasn't successful. I didn't have much money back then, and I didn't really have the money to pay for a taxi. So I said to myself, okay, I guess I'm going to stay in Crown Heights. And I was walking down Kingston Avenue, and I was about to cross the street. This was on Crown Street, I believe. And my uncle, Rebbe Label Newman Zalzeingesund, he was driving by with his station wagon, if anyone remembers what station wagons are, or were. And he said, hey, were you eating your meal tonight for Shabbos? I said, I don't know, I don't have any plans. He says, please come over to my house. I said, sure, thanks for the invitation. Let me pause for a second and go back a couple of days. It was Chafav, the Yortzeit of the Rebbe's father, Rebbe Leivik. So that was, I believe, on a Wednesday. That Wednesday I visited my Bubbie and Zeidi in Williamsburg. Bubbie and Zeidi Franczos, that is. And I was telling them all about Chafav, how special of a day it is. And then my Zeidi, I believe, asked me, so you're coming here for Shabbos? And my Bubbie says, you know, this Shabbos is not going to work for me. I don't know exactly the words she used, but it was something to the effect that I'm sorry, but this Shabbos is just not going to work. Now let's go back to Friday afternoon. I get an invitation for the Shabbos meal by my uncle. I daven Kabbalah Shabbos and I go to his house, and we're sitting at the Shabbos table, and suddenly the Hatzalah rings the bell, or comes into the house, and I have no idea what's going on. All I see is my aunt goes into the kitchen. She takes something from the cabinet, I'm not even sure what it was, and she's whisked out by this Hatzalah member, and everybody is left wondering like what is going on. All we heard was something happened to my Bubbie. So of course, throughout the whole Shabbos, we were on pins and needles, and comes Motzei Shabbos. I remember I get the call from my cousin, Struli Newman, and all he said was, it's terrible. He didn't even want to say what happened. So this is what happened. My Zaida, Franczos, would daven at a shul, I believe it's at Salem shul, which is just a few blocks away from his apartment. And for some time, I'm not sure how long they kept up this very nice tradition, where my Bubbie would go and walk to shul and wait for him until he finishes that davening, and then they would walk home together. So it was that Friday night. My Bubbie was crossing the street, and a car came, and then Loyaleno hit her, and it was also a hit and run. And shortly afterwards, she returned her neshama to the Eibishter. It came the next day, Sunday, was the Levaya. She was buried in the cemetery in New Jersey. And then we all came back to the apartment house in Williamsburg for a Shiva. At the Shiva house, somebody, must have been one of my aunts or my mother, offered me something to eat. And they take out from the fridge a most delicious fruit soup that was cooked by my Bubbie just a few days ago. My Bubbie was a Holocaust survivor. She went through Auschwitz and survived, and so was my Zaida. At the Levaya, I saw my zeida get up there and speak, and to me it was so inspiring to see his eisen, his iron strong emuna in the Eibishter. Even as he spoke, he hardly broke down. He was just a really strong person, and all he said was, "This is all from the Eibishter." And I remember by my bar mitzvah, 1992, my Zayd gave a speech. I remember it was a long speech, and all what he was saying was, "Thank you Hashem, thank you Hashem." That whatever he had from the Eibishter, he was thankful for it, and he knew that everything was in the Eibishter's hands. So you could imagine somebody that was a Holocaust survivor, and his wife is also a Holocaust survivor, and to be killed in such a way on Friday night, on Shabbos, going to pick up her husband from the shul, you could think that the person is totally shattered. I mean, in a way, I'm not going to say my Zaida wasn't broken. He was definitely more than broken. But to his Amunah, nothing in the world could shake that. And that's what I take from this whole story. A Yid's Amunah, nothing in the world could break it.